Great. Morning, everybody. Oh, that does work. Okay. Are you folks all set? Great. Well, first, thank you for being here this morning. I am Attorney General Josh Kaul, and I'm joined by several groups that we were working in partnership with on today's announcement. So January is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and we are pleased to share that the Wisconsin Department of Justice is partnering with victim services professionals as well as federal and local law enforcement agencies in creating a new Wisconsin Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. This task force is going to enhance efforts around the state to fight human trafficking. It's also going to provide support to survivors of trafficking by bringing law enforcement and victim services providers together, and I'll talk in a moment about why that's so important. This collaboration between law enforcement, victim services providers, and other stakeholders is critical in a number of ways. Number one, it provides services to survivors that might not otherwise be available by allowing law enforcement to ensure that they're in contact with victim services professionals. We're able to get victim services to individuals right. It's important because it can help to work with law enforcement to hold traffickers serves public. Now, the Wisconsin Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force is led by a dedicated DOJ staff, including Alex Stanley, our task force coordinator. Alex, thank you for the work that you are doing. It's also being led by Jan Miyasaki and Emily Zernick from Project Respect, joining me up here. Other membership on the steering committee, which is reflected up here, includes the FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, the Department of State Diplomatic Security Services, the Family Center, and UMOS, and thank you, UMOS, for to enforce services providers, government agencies, tribal governments, community-based organizations as this year moves forward. In addition to other goals of the task force include identifying potential areas where human sex trafficking and labor trafficking may be occurring. Emphasize one to get survivors in arms. Also, hope identify areas of work, survivors and lived expert leadership. And we want to deliver training for partners around the state. In addition to that, we plan to collect data on human trafficking, and this is it's made in, but there's also a lot more work to be done to ensure data is collected, that it's consistent, reliable, and can provide informative statistics for makers, for advocates, and for law enforcement. We want to have a clear understanding of this crime in the state of Wisconsin. This task force, the Trafficking Victim Protection Act, by ensuring that all trafficking victims are identified and receive access to a comprehensive array of support services and trafficking effectively investigated tribal victim crimes, justice, and supporting this critical work. And turn it over to Mia, the Executive Director of Project Respect.
I too want to thank the law enforcement that and your work. So We wanted to make sure that you knew that you're appreciated. One of the things we'll call together during this National Month, anti-trafficking collaboration among law enforcement and victim service providers in order to intent of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, and that is to develop a victim-centered response in Wisconsin. A coordinated strategy is needed to actively engage with the community, to develop trust, to build relationships, to support survivor identification, feedback to survivors to improve Wisconsin's response to this crime. And the task force has a long-term goal to establish and structure that will support combating human trafficking. As lead victim provider, we are working to fulfill the intent of the federal VPA and ensure that victims receive time to a comprehensive support services, to provide training and technical based on up-to-date available research and reflecting best practices in the field. We are building a unified network of services for human trafficking survivors and are developing a referral and information sharing with law enforcement, confidentiality, rights, and fairness that is critical to our this fight against human trafficking. We are also available to provide community awareness trainings that raise this awareness of trafficking's realities and dynamics. Emily's the victim program manager work. Thank you. Attorney General, I want to for this that acknowledge the historic by victim service providers, teachers, nurses, social workers, parents, neighborhood activists in our task force, new task force's goal is to support work. Our working together. Victims have been described as being in the nearly for any reason. The he or she, because coercion is often psychological. They may have ambivalent and not trusting our society's capacity to respond. So our vision is to work together. Together we make all our communities safer, prevent human trafficking, as well as we will be ready when survivors come forward, because it's a tough process. We will be ready when survivors come forward to provide the best possible response to their act of bravery. So I thank you for being here and being concerned about now. Fitzgerald.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Sean Fitzgerald. I'm the special agent in charge of security investigation in Chicago. January, investigation joins enforcement agencies to educate the public on human trafficking, its indicators, and how to prevent and report it. It is my honor to be in front of you, a member of the Wisconsin Human Force. Together, one. General Josh Kaul, again, Executive Dan Miyazaki, Resource Center, I'm sorry, the FBI sees that HSI Chicago is a global leader in the fight against human trafficking and has an extensive mission to proactively fight against the trafficking of individuals. HSI special agents utilize their broad range of authority and international footprint to investigate and domestic, especially to behind me provides heinous crime. Unfortunately, they can't be want to ensure the public indicators of individual position of trust and prostitution facilitated online or on the streets, or in businesses fronting or in prostitution such as massage parlors, or used to produce goods that are in our homes and workplaces. The victim children, citizens, they had found a good paying job or a better way of life, only to have their home as the first victim. Law enforcement, three-part trafficking. Age, more distributed throughout by and HSI Chicago partner mental health. I'm going to introduce the director of the Latin.
And welcome to you, and welcome to this wonderful opportunity to learn more about the task force. I am Mariana, the director of UMOS Resource Center. For over 10 years, UMOS has implemented services to sex and labor trafficking, both locally and statewide. UMOS is tasked and work along project Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation, enforcement entities such as Homeland Security. Through this task force, we are able to bring together dedicated, passionate trafficking advocates, safety planning, services to victims of trafficking. The law enforcement pillar of this task force allows for victims, providers, and to operate and strengthen investigating human trafficking and prosecuting traffickers. We are afraid and often do not trust systems. As one of the service providers, along with Project Respect, we will be able to provide victim accompaniment and assist those clients who want to report what has happened. We know that that is the task. And as advocates, we will be able to work along with them, not only through the reporting process, but also accompany them through the judicial process. In addition, we will be able to provide around services so that we are able to their ability and increase their safety, their empowerment, and their self-sufficiency. As it has stated before, human trafficking is complex, and the efforts of this task force can only make our communities and stay in our safer, hopefully. There's nothing more important than in our effort to ensure that victims are protected. This task is more of a comprehensive community response that is victim-centered. And also, one of the more important aspects of this task force is that the victim safety and autonomy guides our work. Thank you for joining today, and now I will introduce you Special Agent in Charge, Michael Hensel of FBI.
Good morning, everyone. Today, for putting this month and highlighting the impact that human having not just on our community in Wisconsin, across the United States. Make mistake is human trafficking happening here with Wisconsin. In 2001, the FBI had approximately 600 cases of human trafficking. 2020, 2 years later, we're already over 16 to 1,800 cases this year alone. This is an increasing threat to our country, both external individuals overseas, individuals as well as good into this country. It's something that is on tasks about are so important. The service for those help for most of but it is manual labor are no together. Unique perspective of here within this state, but our goal is to protect this state across the each one of us in trafficking. We with our part public Wisconsin identify by its nature. Trafficking means it just starts. That again, we need your help. To that end, our partners advocacy, something both we do internally with Department of Justice and the FBI, as well as our community outreach partners that are able to provide those services, are key to that success of not just combating it from a law enforcement prosecutorially standpoint, but also from how we care for the individuals who've gone through this. If you see anything, please let your local law enforcement aware of those situations, DCI, FBI, make that call. It'll help everyone. Highlighting this month and bringing this topic to everyone's awareness.
First, thanks for up here to answer any questions you have.
Welcome. We talk a lot about labor trafficking. That's become kind of a big topic with the World Cup recently. How big of a problem is that in Wisconsin, and how do you combat that?
First, if others want to speak to it, please feel free. We have great data generally, and that includes labor trafficking. One of the things that is data collection, so we occur across the country. do in gathering information, developing information from people who have knowledge about the can respond and investigate cases. So as the work of this task force and work moves forward, we'll you know is that it's and that we to add anything, please let me know.
Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana at the same. And I'm privy to the country within this. Human trafficking is in the labor aspect of it is in every city as well. It's in so can have it. It could be massage parlors, it could be hair age to movements in their work. That's where I think is now that what before we thought was maybe a to of the equipment to be that change to the in some call our tip line or this can tell you HSI tip.
What is kind of new or generally practicing hope this kind of current evolution.
Yes. Mentions there was a anti-human trafficking task force that release. Knowledge gained over the last several years within the law enforcement community and other communities about that human trafficking and about the scale of it. Recognition, I think, of practices that be signs of labor trafficking. Likewise, what I think 20 years ago may have been as a crime involving prostitution, now there's a much better arrested. I think seen a real increase in awareness the law enforcement community of the need to those are people who are the truly outrageous. Has been progress, data collection. There's more than it several years ago. State critical piece, and one of the reasons we're doing this, the collaboration between law enforcement agencies, services providers, is really critical for reasons, but approach so some trained and working who knows how to a tactic that is used by traffickers. And so if it's somebody struggling with substance use disorder or mental illness or homelessness, exploit that. That survive they to if a survivor primary focus is a concern about people, then cooperating in an investigation seem in bridge that with service get more survivors to come forward. Today with one of our DCI agents, Ben. They is to work with victim service providers because they can't do their job without them. So grateful to have you all doing that work, not only for the service you provide. Again, thank you. Look forward to working together as force.